Talk to me about Colin Farrell, man. Like working with him, meeting him for the first time. You'd seen the Batman already?
Yeah.
At that point.
Yeah,
So
times.
were you like everybody else? Like, that's not Colin Farrell.
Yeah, especially when I first saw it. I mean, I remember being like just geeking out with my friends when we first saw him in the makeup, like without me being a part of the project. Just him in the makeup in the Batman, and I was like in awe of what was going on. And then I went and saw the film, and I again was like, there's no effing way that this guy pulled this off. This is insanely good. I mean, just such a character and such a departure from who he is as a human being. And so I remember me and my friends would even rewind and replay that introductory scene where it's just a slow push-in on Oz on the staircase in the Batman when you first meet him. He's got like a little mini monologue where he introduces himself. Hi, I'm Oz. There's that whole thing. And I would replay that over and over and over again because it was blowing my mind.
Before you even were on the show.
Before there was even an audition hadn't even come to the door. Before I even knew the project existed. Over and over again because it was blowing my mind how good, how much skill I felt like it took to get through that monologue. Because I could see, I always kind of dissect things whenever I'm watching. Not when I watch them for the first time, but when I watch them for like the second or third or fourth time. I'll pick apart the writing and I'll go, how as an actor, what choices were made to get to this kind of performance? And so to me, kind of jumping through what he needs to jump through in that little space, as an actor, felt like a little bit of a stretch. Like it felt like a little bit of a leap. It's like, wow, he's got to get through a couple different kind of beats to get to where he gets to in the end. And he did it so damn well that I was so taken aback that I watched again. When the audition finally comes in, I'm like, holy shit, I'm going to get to, if I get a callback or whatever, I'm going to get to actually read with this guy and like chemistry with Colin. Like I was thinking about that far. And then, of course, if I get the role, then I get to work with him and do the whole thing. Yeah. But I thought how awesome it's going to be to get to do this scene that they gave me, which, by the way, is the bathroom scene.
Oh, is it? That's the one you auditioned with?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Where he's putting a gun to my head and that whole thing.
But that's tough, though, because you had to get to so many like different places to get there with their journey. So you just had to kind of put it together in your head of what happened leading up to it. Wow.
I mean, essentially what they wanted to see was the first scene that I have is me. Honestly, it's a scene that they ended up cutting from the show. There were two scenes for the audition. One of them they ended up cutting. One of them was just me talking to Graciela at a restaurant about my family and about how I've been trying to find my sister, but I couldn't, and that whole thing happening. Ended up cutting it, but that was more just to get a sense of who Victor was, right, when Oz is not around. And then they wanted to get a sense, can the kid play, this incredibly heightened fear? Can we gain a sense that Oz is powerful in the eyes of this kid?
Yeah.
And so then that was kind of what that second scene was about, I think in the audition. And so just in my mind, I just wanted to see Colin do it.
Yeah.
I was like, what a monologue he has about you think you are nothing, you think you're nothing, you are nothing until the day you die. If you don't want this life, get the fuck out of here. Whatever he says, that whole monologue. I was like, I just want to see him do it, and I get to see it in person. It'll be so cool. And so it was incredible once I got the few callbacks and then I got to meet Colin and do the audition. That was insanely cool, and I think I'm one of the only people in the world that are gotten to see Colin do the Oz without the face on.
I was gonna say, yeah,
because he obviously isn't gonna have the prosthetics on for the chemistry read, and so I got to see him just do it, and that's what I was most curious about. It's like, how the hell is he doing this?
Does he need to do it without having the
right? Like, how is it possible that that's actually him?
Right.
And I got to see it. It is him, I promise. And so it was really cool, and then I got to meet him on set, of course, and then that whole thing happened, and there was kind of a moment where you have to decide, because I am such a fan of it, of his performance, and I'm such a fan of the movie as well. There's a moment where you kind of got to decide, and I remember making the decision to like put all of that in a closet somewhere, and you gotta focus, because otherwise you're gonna kind of get lost in being in awe, and you're on camera, and you gotta have all these different feelings, and sometimes you're proud, and sometimes you're scared, and sometimes you're terrified, and sometimes you're giddy. It's like all these different emotions you gotta feel in the face of something that you admire so much.
Right.
But you got to put all that out the window if you want to try and do a decent job.
Well, of course, and I'm sure that with him doing that and as good as he is too, that it probably makes it a little easier for you too, because you're in the middle of that scene, and yes, you can be in awe of this great performance and everything he's doing, but I mean, when it goes, he's Oz, you're Vic.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
let's roll. Yeah.